Right. It is October 11, 2021. Today is Monday. So let's have another tambay or another session for an online hanging out, an online hangout. Okay. As part of our Halloween series. Halloween series because it's October and let's have some kind of preparation for the Halloween. And aside from Netflix, we can also uh, avail of that thrill and scare, okay, scare fest via our YouTube channels. Okay, have you had an OBE? When I was in college, I stayed with a couple, a married couple in Fairview, Quezon City. And the wife would often tell me of her out of body experiences. One time, she told me about an incident where, upon waking up, she was already on her way to the bathroom. She saw her towel hanging near the door of the bathroom. So she grabbed it. This was in the morning, by the way. When she grabbed it, she could not touch it. Her hand seemed to just, pass by the towel. Seems to just go through the towel. And then she realized that she was having an out of body experience again. Apparently, it was something that she would experience regularly. So she looked at the direction of her bed, and voila, she found herself still lying in bed, and almost instantaneously, her consciousness went back to her body, and she woke up. So that's the OBE experience of a woman named Imelda. I met in Fairview, Quezon City. So the question is, have you ever had an OBE as well, an out of body experience? By the way, I'm Jason, and I am a college instructor, entrepreneur, rock musician, martial arts practitioner and enthusiast, blade builder and researcher, prepping and survivalism hobbyist. So this is my channel, and this is a small YouTube channel where I share my thoughts and my interests with you guys who might have the same interest and who might be interested in joining me. But of course, there are so many YouTube channels all over the world, better channels and with better content than my channel. So if you choose to stay or join me in here, thank you so much. Um, there. Have you had an OBE? When I was in high school, I was fourth year high school, just before going to Manila for college. By the way, I am here in the Philippines. The Philippines is in Asia, southern Luzon, and I'm in the Bicol region, which is southern Luzon. If you are familiar with the Mount Mayon or with Mayon volcano, we are not in the same province. I'm in another province, uh, Camarines Sur. Okay, when I was in fourth year, I remember I had an OBE. experience where I found myself floating above myself while my body was sleeping underneath. That was my very first OBE experience. When I was already in college, I was in Manila after an ROTC or a military training session. You know, we used to have a compulsory military training session for college students before it was done every Sunday. So after that session, after the training, I was resting in my boarding house, my apartment, right there at Gastambide, Sampaloc, Manila, when another OBE experience happened. Uh, well, I was having some sort of difficulty moving, you know, waking up. I was having a a sleep paralysis. When in my effort to wake up, I ended up shooting myself up above my sleeping body, and I could, you know, I was floating and I could see myself down, and I was near the ceiling and almost touching the light bulb, which was off at the time. So that was my second OBE experience. The third one was, well, I think it was around 10 years ago, 10 or 11, you know, 10 or 9 years ago, in my house here in the province, when again I experienced a similar, you know, incident where, uh, but this time I went sideways. I went not just above myself, but I hovered around the house. So I even went sideways, uh, and I hovered around the house and the ceiling. So that was another OB experience for me. And the last one was just a few days ago when I found myself hovering above. Uh, no, really hovering near the ceiling of our ancestral home here in Bicol. So I thought I was just dreaming and walking around in our ancestral home, dreaming. But I realized that it was already daytime because that time I overslept, and indeed I was hovering near the ceiling of our ancestral home, and I was going down the stairs, but I was floating when I realized that, oh, this isn't right. So after that, when I thought about that, I immediately uh, woke up, you know, in my body. So I think that was also an OBE experience for me. Yes. Plus the recurring dream. Recently, I've been having some kind of a recurring dream of our ancestral house. Recurring dream, you know, last night, the other night. So I think that's for another topic. So, what are the theories behind OBEs or out of body experiences? So, suppose you faint. Have you heard people tell you about their OBE experience, OBE incident after they fainted? Okay, a person faints and then finds himself hovering above his own body. So for that we have an explanation, neurological explanation. According to neurology experts, um, it's actually common. You know, the OBE is common. It happens to around one of 20 people. Okay, one of 20 people will experience out of body, or will have an astral travel or OBE in their lifetime. It happens during syncope or fainting or harmless fainting. Okay, because the so-called OBE occurs, okay, in between the waking state and the REM, or the rapid eye movement stage of sleep or of consciousness. Because we have three types of consciousness according to the experts. We have the our waking stage, and we have the non rapid eye movement or non REM stage, and we also have the so-called hi there, bro, Pinoy Prepper. So thanks for dropping by. We also have the so-called rapid eye movement stage, where we actually experience lucid dreaming, etc., or the dream state, the rapid eye movements stage. And according to neurologists, um, during this stage, our temporal parietal region, the temporal parietal region of our brain, the area, I think somewhere here, the area that synthesizes information as to where we are or what we are feeling, what we are seeing, our sense of balance or location is turned off. So that is why we experience the so-called OBE. However, let's consider this particular case. When I was in college, I had a weird classmate who was into something else. uh, uh, she asked me to go out of my apartment at a particular time. I think it was 8 p.m. And then the next morning, she just asked me to go out. The next morning, she told me that she did some, she had an astral travel, and she even described my apartment, my boarding house. I mean, the clothes I was wearing, etc., etc. So at first I was uh, doubting her and thinking that maybe she actually lived nearby, but actually no. I was living in Gasambide, Sampaloc, while she had her own, sundo. They were actually rich, and a car would actually fetch her from school, and she actually lived in Makati. So that's why she could not have actually visited me at around that time. So um, that is why there are doubts. Some people doubt the explanation of neurologists, most especially if the experiencers get correct information. Okay, if the experiencers get correct information from their surroundings, or even from the next room, or even from the next barangay, or the next city, or in another country. So um, most especially when the brain is dead, supposedly, especially for example during a cardiac arrest. Okay, when you're supposed to be brain dead, and yet you remember that, and you know that your children are bickering over your properties while you're still actually in the hospital fighting for your life, and you're aware as to who among your children is the most you know most tuso, or who among your children is the most materialistic. So there, some experiencers get correct information. So it could be that the mind can actually separate from the brain, right? And there could be the existence of fifth dimension. So that's our quantum physics explanation. Quantum physics explanation, the presence of another dimension, because usually the experiencers would see an object, and then they could actually see above it, on its sides, and even below it, which is impossible, right? Which is something you cannot do ordinarily during your waking stage. So therefore, there could be a five-dimensional reality aside from our reality. So this calls for so-called uh, quantum physics explanation. Okay. Suppose you hear about this one, about this person who experienced an out-of-body incident, and he or she tells you that uh, after seeing the silver cord behind her or him, okay, she suddenly went back to uh, his or her normal consciousness within her body. This is actually a story told by a movie star, si Dina Bonnevie. Okay, Dina Bonnevie said that she experienced this herself one time, and she went out of the house. She hovered around the barangay, the city, and she went outside of the atmosphere, and she could see balls of fire all over. And then perhaps she said the balls of fire were the planets. And then she observed that she actually had a silver cord behind her, you know, unlimited length. Okay, and after noticing the silver cord, and after thinking about her own body, she actually went back to her own body. So that's the experience of Dina Bonnevie. So let's call that the Dina Bonnevie case. All right. So that's our paranormal uh, explanation, where your soul separates from your body, or your spirit separates from your body. By the way, I read that in the book of Jaime Licauco. Yeah, I think it's the second book, More Encounters of the Unknown. I got it from there. By the way, my neurological explanation and quantum physics explanation, I got it from a YouTube channel that I've been looking at. I've been watching. Let me check the YouTube channel. Uh, it's the it's I don't know how to pronounce this. Nor Foundation YouTube channel. So I got it from there. So have you had an OBE? Kindly post your experience on the comment section, and how, if you have any explanation of your experience, could you explain it via the neurological way? Could you use neurology to explain it? Could you explain it via quantum physics, or you think it's actually a paranormal experience for you? So if you have an OB experience or an out of body. All right, there was an internet interruption, not a power interruption, but an internet outage for a few minutes. As I was saying, if you have had an OBE or an out of body experience, kindly post it on the comment section. And what do you think? Can you explain it via neurology? Or can you explain it via quantum physics? Or can you explain it via paranormal theory? So, what is your explanation? So there, that's our session for today. Our tambay session, our hanging out session. Jason here for the Hagbayon channel and TMS Talks. And this channel is devoted to current events, uh, literature, rock music, blades research, blade building, um, prepping and survivalism. Okay, that's the content of this channel. Um, there, kindly subscribe if you find this channel relevant to you. Okay, there. Thanks for watching, and remember the pen is mightier with the sword.